Imagine this. More than 100 people, men, women, and children, vanish without a trace. No bodies, no signs of struggle, only a single word carved into a post. What happened to them? It is a mystery that has endured for over 400 years. This is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke. Stay with us to the end of this episode to find out what truly happened to these colonists. In the late 16th century, England, under the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, decided to challenge the power of Spain. Sir Walter Raleigh was tasked with establishing the first permanent English colony in North America. It was meant to serve as a base for attacks on Spanish ships and as a foothold in the New World. During the first reconnaissance voyage in 1584, the sailors found a potential site for a colony, Roanoke Island. It was a narrow strip of land located between the mainland and the Outer Banks. In the expedition's report, it was noted that the soil there was the most plentiful, sweet, fruitful, and wholesome in all the world. The following year brought the first attempt at colonization, but it ended in failure. An expedition of soldiers under the command of Ralph Lane managed to land on Roanoke Island. However, nothing went according to plan. A fleet of 7 ships was caught in a storm, and although the flagship, the Tiger, reached the island but lost most of its supplies. In addition, relations with the Native American tribes quickly deteriorated due to the colonists' dependence on their food and the diseases brought by the English. The conflict ended with the killing of a local chief, and the frightened, starving colonists returned to England with Sir Francis Drake's fleet. But Walter Raleigh did not give up. In 1587, he sent a new expedition, this time not soldiers, but 118 settlers, men, women, and children, led by Governor John White. Their destination was the Chesapeake Bay, but the ship's captain refused to sail farther north, claiming that summer was quickly ending, and put them ashore on Roanoke Island. Despite the poor start, the colonists began to settle in. Soon, a significant event took place. On August 18, 1587, Eleanor Dare, the daughter of Governor John White, gave birth to a daughter named Virginia Dare. She was the first English child born in the New World, becoming a symbol of hope for the future. However, the colony's situation was precarious. Supplies were dwindling, and tensions with the local tribes were rising. The settlers persuaded Governor John White to return to England for help. Before he departed, they agreed that if the colonists had to move, they would carve the name of the new location in a visible place. If they were forced to leave by violence, they would add a Maltese cross to the inscription. John White reached England, but he could not return to Roanoke right away. War with Spain had begun, and the Queen ordered all ships to remain in port to defend against the Spanish Armada. It was only 3 years later, in August 1590, that John White was able to sail back to Roanoke. On his granddaughter Virginia's birthday, he landed on the island and found not a single living soul. Yet in the settlement there were no signs of struggle or destruction, and the houses had been carefully dismantled, as if in preparation for a move. The only clues were the letters CRO carved into a tree, and the word CROATOAN carved into the palisade at the entrance to the fort. There was no Maltese cross anywhere. Croatoan was both the name of an island to the south, present-day Hatteras Island, and of a friendly tribe. John White was certain the colonists had peacefully relocated. He wanted to sail there at once, but a fierce storm forced the ships to turn back to England. John White would never again see his daughter, his granddaughter, or the colony. He died soon after, never learning the fate of the settlers. So what really happened on Roanoke Island? Over the past 400 years, several main theories have emerged. The first theory, relocation to Croatoan Island, now Hatteras Island, and assimilation with local tribes. The carving on the post directly points to this. In later years, European objects, pieces of weapons, pottery were found on Hatteras Island. Researchers also reported that the descendants of the local Hatteras tribe had light-colored eyes and told stories about white ancestors. However, no human remains, graves, or settlement sites that could be definitively linked to the lost colony have been found on the island, and the European artifacts could have been acquired through trade. The second theory, the colonists moved inland. On John White's map, under a patch, a mark resembling a fort was discovered about 50 miles from Roanoke. Recent archaeological excavations in that area uncovered 16th century English pottery. It is possible that part of the colonists went there, just as had originally been agreed with John White. The third theory, an attack by the Spanish, who were at war with England. The Spanish knew about the colony's existence and searched for it, but their own records show that they never found the settlement. Moreover, John White discovered no signs of a battle on the island. The fourth theory, the colonists perished from starvation and disease. Between 1587 and 1589, the region suffered the worst drought in 800 years. Food was scarce even for the local tribes, let alone the colonists. However, this theory is challenged by the fact that John White did not find a single grave in the abandoned settlement. Beyond these main theories, there are other possibilities. For example, that the colonists might have tried to sail back to England in a small boat. But in the end, none of the theories have ever been conclusively proven, and the mystery of the lost colony of Roanoke remains unsolved to this day. The fate of Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World, also remains unknown. Yet Virginia Dare has become an important figure in American folklore. Her name symbolizes innocence and purity, as well as new beginnings and hope. Over time, her story and image have been co-opted for various purposes. For example, since the 19th century, the name Virginia Dare has been adopted as a symbol of white nationalism. She has also come to represent women's rights. Today, the name of Virginia Dare and the story of Roanoke have become a tourist brand. Many places are named in her honor, including Dare County in North Carolina, the Virginia Dare Trail, and the Virginia Dare Memorial Bridge. On Roanoke Island, her birthday is celebrated every year with an Elizabethan fair. And what do you think really happened to the Roanoke colonists? Which of the theories seems the most convincing to you? Share your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on new and exciting stories. See you soon.